Welcome back to week 2 of our semester. I guess this is technically week 3, but we're in module 2, and so I wanted to quickly go over everything, make sure you guys are prepared, because we do have our very first exam this Friday, September 6th. So I wanted you all to be aware of that and to be prepared to get everything done. So taking a look at what we have so far, before the exam, you should complete Dynamic Study Module 0, Dynamic Study Module 1, and Module 2 as well. Those are the 3 graded homework assignments that are due on September 6th. So get those done before you complete the exam, because they contain the information that you need in order to do well on the exam. The exam is going to be covering Module 1 and Module 2. Most of you have completed Module 0, but quite a few have not done Module 1, or very few have touched Module 2 yet. So make sure you guys get on, do those. If you are having any trouble whatsoever signing up, if you tried getting access to course material, etc., I know there have been some weird things with the wrong access codes being sent out. So if you're having any trouble with those, use the free 14-day access code. If you still having trouble or are afraid you won't be able to get access by September 6th, contact me as soon as possible so that we can get things worked out for you. All right, so with all that out of the way, let's talk about the exam itself. The exam itself is only 20 questions, and most of them are multiple choice. There's a few fill in the blank. So relatively simple exam. It's not going to take you too long to do, but you do want to make sure you're prepared. So I wanted to go through the book and highlight the sections that you should pay the most attention to. We have 3 questions from Chapter 1.1 with 3 key economic ideas. So rationality, economic incentives, and optimal and marginal decision making. You want to make sure you understand these 3 ideas. There are 4 questions from 1.2, the economic problem that every society must solve. So talking about how we make decisions about economics in our free market society, how we decide to produce, what to produce, how they will be costed, all of those things, right? So 4 questions from here. There's 3 questions from 1.3 about economic models. And then there are 2 questions from 1.4 about microeconomics and macroeconomics. So all of these questions are mostly, from Chapter 1, are mostly going to be about definitions, making sure you guys understand terms. So if you find and make sure you understand the definitions for these highlighted terms for this first chapter, that'll cover most of your bases. Then from Chapter 2, we have 3 questions from 2.1 on production possibility frontiers and opportunity costs, or rather related to this chapter. But one of these chapters is a 3-point question, so it's got a couple of different parts to it, and it's a little more worthwhile. It is worth a few more points. So definitely want to make sure that you understand production possibility frontiers and opportunity costs, especially make sure you understand this graph and how it relates to this chart, and what these different points mean, right? That we have inefficient, unattainable, and efficient outcomes on a PPF graph, and where those points lie on the graph. Then we have 2 questions directly related to comparative advantage and trade. But again, one of these questions is worth more points. It's worth 4 points. So this is a very important topic that you'll want to understand, how comparative advantage works and why we get trade from comparative advantage. So again, looking at this, can you understand? Do you understand how we can just figure out who has the comparative advantage in this situation? Right. So obviously, our neighbor in this situation has an absolute advantage in producing the two goods because I can produce more of it. But in terms of trade-offs, we have a better comparative advantage of producing apples than they have, and they have the better comparative advantage producing cherries. Why is that the case, right? You want to make sure you understand that. And then last but not least, we have 3 questions related to 2.3 market system. So why do we have a market system and how does it work compared to other systems? So if you guys have any other questions or concerns about the exam, please reach out to me. It will be available starting at 8 a.m. on Friday. It will be available until midnight. Expect it to take about 30 minutes. I would give yourself at least an hour, so that way you can do a quick review and then take your time going through all of the different questions. Again, 20 questions. Most of them are multiple choice. You will also need the Respondus Lockdown browser, so make sure you have that downloaded so that you can take the exam through Respondus. All right, best of luck, everyone, and I will be reaching out to you next week.